June 2nd, 2025 may go down as being the day that we have seen the largest move in silver's price in a 24-hour period. Right now, we are dangerously close to $35 an ounce. I never thought I'd say this and see this so quickly, but it has happened. Let's talk about what is behind today's move in silver's price, and it's not just about the Russia-Ukraine escalation that we've been seeing. There's more to it than that. Let's talk about it as we explore. An exciting day for silver stackers if you have been wanting some validation that you're doing the right thing. But a word of caution, as is always the case, this is a dramatic move to the upside. If silver's price is exploding, no question about it. It is skyrocketing. For a single day's move of over 5.5%, that is a massive increase in price. Now, obviously, in the grand scheme of things and looking at through the lens of history, silver still has a long way to go, but $35 is a critical number, and we're a dime away from that happening. It's now $34.90 up, and it's pretty amazing to see this massive move in silver's price in one day. Gold also has fared well so far. It is up 2.8%, up $92.50 in one day to $3,382.80. Platinum is up $12. It's out at over $1,074, and palladium is up $20. The only metal that's down today, and it's down by a lot, is rhodium. Go figure. It's kind of strange, but that's where we're at with the precious metals complex right now. An amazing day for sure. I'm going to get into that in a moment, but I want to remind you of channel sponsor Summit Metals, one of the fastest growing bullion dealers out there right now. They have a great selection and great customer service, so check them out at summitmetals.com. So I'm going to be referencing a piece here that gives us a little bit of insight as to what's going on today with the markets. And this is from Atsuko Whitehouse, and this is somebody who has something from a little different perspective, and I like that. But we're also going to insert some of our own analysis in here as well too. And the first part that I want to say before I get into this is what I think is going to be happening is we're going to see higher silver prices probably through the week. I don't think there may be a slight consolidation period that we're going to see, and likely that's going to happen probably near Friday. There may be a little bit of a dip back tomorrow, as this is a radical move to the upside. Typically we see that, but you never know. It could breach $35 before that happens. But I think they're going to be relatively up, at least up from they were at the beginning of trading today by the end of the week. Now, gold prices have surged over 2% as U.S. dollar sank towards this spring's three-year lows amid fast worsening tensions over the Trump White House trade policies, plus new military tensions in U.S., China, and Europe, Russian geopolitics. And that is what we're looking at. So a three-pronged approach here, two geopolitical actions, and also what's going on with the dollar. And what is the dollar doing right now? Well, the dollar indeed is down, and it is down not by as much as you think. It's down 0.7% to 98.6 cents, or 98.66 rather, is the U.S. dollar index right now. It's low, but it's not like it's crashing or anything. The dollar is still the strongest currency out there compared to others, but this dollar index compared to others is back some. Notwithstanding, silver's up even more. So it's not just the dollar that's having an effect here, obviously. I think it's mostly trade tension and the Europe-Russia geopolitics situation we're seeing here. And so it's a new record high. When it was reached 6 weeks ago, we saw gold reach over about $3,500 an ounce. But we're seeing the dollar index hit about a 6-week low on its trade-weighted index against the rest of the rich world's major currencies, testing its weakest since April of 2022. Among the immediate aftermath of Russia invading Ukraine, as Washington and Beijing accused each other of violating the recent trade deal. And that is on top of mind on that front. And the threat China poses is real. and could be imminent, according to U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in his speech Saturday, warning that Shangri-La Dialogue Summit in Singapore about Beijing's desire to annex Taiwan by force. Hegseth deliberately ignored the call for peace and development by countries in the region and instead touted the Cold War mentality for bloc confrontation, according to a spokesperson for China's foreign ministry. So it's not just about trade dialogue and tensions, it is about military tensions. Wow. Trump, meantime, doubled tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. to 50% effective Wednesday, and prompting talk of countermeasures from trading partners, including China and European Union. The strength of the U.S. dollar comes partly from its institutional integrity, the rule of law, independence, and central banking and policy that's predictable, according to Michael DePass, global head of rates trading at the American market making firm Citadel Securities. The last 3 months have called that into question. And if there are strained China relations with the United States, silver is going to be impacted. But you would think that would actually be negative for silver's price on one hand. And so that's why, I'm cautious about my optimism for silver here as we head into digesting this news. And the dollar fell on Monday. Gold price in euros and pounds also climbed sharply. They rallied over 1%. And we're moving to war-fighting readiness, according to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, a warning of growing Russian aggression against the world's sixth largest economy, ahead of this month's NATO military alliance summit in the Netherlands. Russia has hit at the weekend by massive drone attacks launched by Ukraine, destroying about $7 billion worth of strategic bombers stationed at 4 airfields. And so far, I've not heard any kind of pushback from Russia about the amount of damage done. So far, it's not been disputed yet. Russian and Ukrainian officials were due to meet in Istanbul, Turkey today, to continue only their second round of direct peace talks since 2022. China's mainland financial markets were meanwhile closed on Monday in observance of the Dragon Boat Festival, but other Asian shares plunged, with the Hang Seng in Hong Kong falling as much as 2.7%, closing down 0.7%, while the Nikkei in Japan fell 1.3%. Europe stocks also declined, with the Euro Stock 600 falling 0.3% as U.S. stock futures pointed lower following New York's biggest monthly increase since late 2023. Western government bond prices also fell. There's a number of different things that are happening here, which pushes up the 10-year U.S. Treasury yields as benchmark rate for government, as well as many financial and commercial borrowing costs, by 3 basis points from Friday's 2-week low of 4.36% per annum. And of course, primarily, the price of silver, which is an industrial metal, rose again. And this is something that we're seeing really acting as a companion metal to gold, far surpassing it. I think rising as both an industrial metal as well as a precious metal, silver is right now. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing indeed to see this happen. Now, what is happening in the American markets? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is actually up slightly, and the Nasdaq is also up slightly. So is the S&P. So we're seeing some of these other markets up, but the Asian markets are down. So that's what we're seeing there. So fascinating analysis there. I do think it is sort of a 3-pronged approach here as we see tariff talk and tensions, geopolitical tensions between China and the United States and Russia and Ukraine and the European powers, as well as the United States and Russia. And there's factors there that could lead to potentially World War III or a wider conflict at the very least. There's more in place right now for that to happen, I think, than ever before, considering what's going on. I don't know how Putin is going to respond, but I think just that alone is propping up gold prices, and silver is I think, going to benefit from that. So if we do see a pullback from this massive increase in silver's price, then I think it's not going to be by much as we head into the week and digesting all this news and what this tension means. I don't know exactly the interpretation of the tensions between China and the United States, but my guess is probably that's going to be a bit overblown. And once that gets settled, then I think likely we're going to see some normalization of relations. And, there is a call scheduled between Trump and Xi Jinping. And so we'll see how that conversation goes. And hopefully things will subside there. But nonetheless, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case for Russia and Ukraine. We're going to continue to see strain there and a counteroffensive. That counteroffensive coming is going to be pretty intense. No question about it. There is no peace talks or no ceasefire discussions that have stopped after 1 hour, basically after prisoner swaps, and that's it. So there's your latest news. One thing I always like to tell folks, whenever there is this massive move like this, yes, we get giddy about silver's price going up, but it's going up on bad news all the way around. That's not good. So yes, we can celebrate and we're validated to some extent, but at what cost? Silver is struggling. There is some resistance at this point, and is now back to $1.77 increase today to $34.85. So there's some pushback already happening right now. But nonetheless, if we do see $35 and we see things start to stay pretty tense, then we very well could see silver push through the technical resistance and stay above that and move up from there. But the silver there's an opportunity in silver that I think traders may take advantage of compared to what gold had provided in the past. So that is something we have to consider as well too. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I believe in silver, and silver, though it is pushing up today, we'll see what happens tomorrow and through the week. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.